Well, working from home, of course, has presented some challenges. Maybe you can hear a dog of mine barking in the background right now, but I am not alone. So much time has been able to be devoted to our pets, which is one thing that has been fabulous during this time. And now we get to introduce you to a pet of one of our favorite guests, Dr. Whitney Elmore. And the reason we're talking and you're showing off your baby is because we're talking about pets and plants, which is
Yes.
key while we're at home these days. Whitney, how you
Yes.
doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It's good to be back with you guys.
Okay, Whitney, introduce us and explain why you wanted to chat about this topic
So
today.
this is Hassenpfeffer. This is one of my babies. This is Hassenpfeffer. My sweet little Pomeranian here, my rescue Pomeranian. I've got him here. I mean, obviously, when we have pets, we understand how much joy they can bring to our lives, and a lot of people are in tune with the fact that there are things inside of the house that can be dangerous, like them getting into chocolate, which can be very dangerous. um, Even getting into some of our potted plants like Dieffenbachia or pothos, peace lilies. Those can be dangerous. Those can have some toxins that can be poisonous to our pets, not just dogs, but also to cats in some cases. But a lot of people, when our pets are outside roaming around, whether they stay out permanently or they just spend some time outside, could interact with some things that are potentially dangerous outside as well. And I thought it was a good idea to bring some folks' attention to that.
I love this. I'm so glad we're talking about it. Sometimes it can feel overwhelming, when it comes to making sure, your pets are safe. So
Sure.
what do people need to keep in mind? What can we kind of begin the process of evaluating what we have and what do we need to be watching out for?
Sure. So there are some things that, are kind of obvious in the landscape, small rocks and sticks and plants with thorns that could get in paws. But there are some plants like you see there, crotons, the coonties, asparagus ferns, which are really, really common in our landscape. Oleander, I think a lot of people realize that those are dangerous to us. But even things like mulch can be dangerous, especially puppies really like to chew on mulch and sticks, and those can cause some intestinal problems that could be really dangerous, actually. Keeping there goes Hassenpfeffer wandering through the
Oh.
yard, but, keeping their attention away from some of these things, just keeping an eye on them is really important. Something a lot of people have in their yard is a sago palm. And
Mhm.
sagos are very beautiful. They're kind of classic Florida plant. The female produces a flower with these really attractive red seeds. Those are highly poisonous and
Mm.
something that dogs like to pick up on and chew. Even children might like to do that. So, what I would tell people is, just because you have some of these plants that could be poisonous, and there's a whole list of them that could potentially cause some problems. It doesn't mean you need to run out and try to remove those or any of that kind of stuff, but being kind of thoughtful when we're replacing plants in the landscape, like if you wanted to say go palm, get a male instead of a female in that case, where you don't get the seeds. But just keeping an eye on pets when they're out roaming in the yard is really important. The Animal Poison Control Center gets somewhere around 180,000 calls a year for animals being poisoned by something they've eaten. I believe eighth on the list is plants. And
Hmm.
it's hard to know, what's dangerous and what's not. And some dogs just like to chew and mouth, especially puppies. But it's just really important to keep an eye on them and know what's in your landscape, and kind of control what they're getting into from time to time, but also know what to look for in case there are some danger signs too.
And of course, your passion is plants and educating people there. What are some things to keep in mind? Because I'm one of those families where the dog will come back and be like, "Oh, what are you chewing on?" They just got that
Yeah.
look of guilt, and they were in trouble doing something, but maybe not sure what.
Yes, mine have the guilt look
Yeah.
on occasion. I know they've done something. Just keep an eye out for things like mushrooms. Many, many of our mushrooms can be toxic, not only to us, but to pets. So if you're seeing mushrooms in the yard, remove those. Don't give them a chance to eat on them. Pick up big sticks. Pine cones is something that a lot of dogs like to chew on, and that can cause some major intestinal damage and impaction. So just kind of clearing the yard of those types of things. But if you notice that your pet is kind of standing alone, acting a little bit disoriented, holds its head down, doesn't want to eat, doesn't want to drink.
Hmm.
Those are symptoms that something's not quite right, and it's probably time to call a vet at that point. If you notice they've ingested something, I would always err on the side of caution, regardless of their behavior, and call your veterinarian immediately just to see if
Hmm.
there's anything that, any actions you need to take at home or if it's time for a visit. There are some animals out there too, like cane toads, and just a sniff or a lick can be
Yes.
fatal to
I'm a,
our.
you know what, Whitney? I think we're going to have to do another segment about that. Deal?
Sure,
Hey, thank you
absolutely.
for being here. And I know you are a wealth of knowledge and always willing to help. People can, of course, get in touch with you at the Pasco County Extension Office. Whitney, always a treat. Thank you for
Yes, ma'am.
introducing us to one of your babies, too.
Yes, ma'am. Have a good day.
Take care and stay in touch.
You too.